Hello everyone to the testing phase. Well, got the PCB out of the cabinet now. Got a clean 5 volts coming in. Tapped off of the audio test point. This board does have audio problems, but we're going to see if we can push past that. And I also tapped off of the composite video here. So now we've got a nice LCD display, and we can rule out any kind of weird CRT or voltage problems. Okay. But first, what I wanted to start with was the audio, because memory beeps have been requested. So it looks like we have a game going. Let's go ahead, and I've brought the audio signal into this mixer. This way we can boost the signal. I do not want to put an oscilloscope on this board because it just ruins the fun. So it's a very weak signal, but something is coming out, right? So we get some sort of audio. That's enough audio. It's enough audio to do beeps. We can figure out some beeps with that. So let's put it in test mode. And I'm gonna push the reset button. Now listen. Do it again. We get one beep. Okay. Let's go ahead and turn that. Let's get rid of that. So one beep. What does that tell us? Well, it doesn't tell us much. One beep says it's the first memory module on the list. The manual says that if it, the first memory chip fails, it's not going to go to the second or the third, whatnot. It's just going to stop at that point. So when we look at this screen, we can already tell the archer and the position of the centipede and spider are interacting with each other in some weird way. Most likely timing. With the game, if the board is running in this state, how do you ever expect it to test the memory? Right? So if it can't test the memory, and of course it's going to fail on the first memory chip. Now what don't we see here? We don't see random characters. We don't see changing, flickering characters where they shouldn't be. So that's not memory. And usually that's indicative of a memory issue, right? So, but what we do have here is some kind of order. So if you look at the top, high scores, right? Got the right amount of characters. It's the wrong characters, however. See further down, one coin, one play. Again, the right amount of characters, just the wrong ones. And some of the high score games, they've got black spaces, but it's most likely because it's trying to display a character that doesn't exist. Okay, so something to look at. Another thing is top right hand corner. There's supposed to be 2 zeros there, right? But we only have one. You can see how it's kind of cropped off. So it's like shifted to the right or something. It's not really. I mean, the high scores are centered, but I don't know, something weird. You can see the flea in the top left corner too, right? So when we go into test mode, I noticed this when the board was in the cabinet, thought it could possibly be a monitor, a CRT issue. But it comes over here to the LCD display as well. We've got more black space at the bottom than we do at the top. Very strange. The characters don't look crushed or anything. I measured the characters at the top of the list versus the bottom of the screen to see, because they kind of look bigger at the bottom of the screen than they did at the top, but no, they're all the same height. But anyway, we know to get a good vertical sync, first of all, let's go ahead and coin up a game. 2 players. Now, we know that to get a good vertical sync, your horizontal counters have to be working. So your horizontal counter hits 256, goes ahead and triggers a vertical count. So the screen is shifted. So our vertical count is off, and we've got a black bar at the bottom. So our horizontal count might be a little off as well. But what's interesting is when we get to the second player. I want you to pay attention to where the centipede starts, where the archer is. First of all, it's in cocktail mode. Look at that. Centipede starts in the center. First of all, I don't have it jumped off to be in cocktail mode, so that bit is flipped. Once again, it's probably reading the wrong value for that location. Now watch the centipede. When it gets to the bottom, it should reverse course and start coming back up. And it just goes off into the ether. Oh, there it comes. With the spider hanging out at the top of the screen instead of the bottom. Not much of a challenge for player 2. I think it can come low enough to hit the archer. The point is, this looks like something's off with the 256 counter. Or something with the horizontal sync circuit, or one of the timings that make it up. Because if the horizontal sync circuit weren't working at all, we wouldn't have an image. So it's got to be working to some extent to even get an image. Anyway, moving on. So we've got some historical data to look at here. According to one of the members, we've got C5. He had a similar issue. At C5, output 11 was stuck high. It was stuck high. So 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 11 is not stuck high. Let's look at its inputs that feed that. 12 and 13. 12 sounds clean. 13 sounds clean. This is why you shouldn't just follow historic data and start yanking out ICs. But I do think we're onto something here. I believe that historical data is valid. It's pointing us in the right direction. Now, the output of C5 is supposed to feed a reset pin on a counter on B5. So what I want to do is I want to look at the outputs for B5. Let's see what they sound like. We're going to start with 14 and work our way back. So 8, here. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So that sounds good. 14, 13, 12, 11. Sounds kind of weird for a counter output, don't you think? It's a timing issue. I'm telling you. I think 256 is in the center of the screen. Or something of that nature. Anyway, what say you?